Welcome back, everybody. Time for another out-of-this-world story from rSpace. My 27 male wife, 32 female, thinks I'm selfish because I used all of our combined stimulus check money to pay for her college debt. Was I out of line? I've been married to Sharon for 3 years, but prior to that, we'd been dating for 3 years. When I met Sharon, I was a senior in college, and she was employed at a bookstore I frequented often. We have a 1.5-year-old daughter, Lily, together. I am an engineer, and Sharon is a stay-at-home mom. Prior to Lily being born, Sharon had worked at the bookstore since she was 22. Other than innocent short-term middle school and high school relationships, Sharon is the only true long-term relationship I've ever been in, and honestly, she's also the only sexual partner I've ever had, and I don't regret that fact. I've never pressed Sharon about her past boyfriends, but from what I've gathered over the years, she's had several long-term boyfriends in her life, and much more sexual experience. Part of this, of course, is because she does happen to be 5 years older, but also because I tend to be a shy introvert and she's more of a social butterfly. Anyway, I've always known during our dating that Sharon had once attended college with the goal of earning a degree in sociology, but dropped out in the middle of junior year to deal with the death of her father. Apparently, her father had left her mother in a less than ideal financial situation, so Sharon had to get a job to help her mom with some bills. Eventually, Sharon's mom was able to recover her financial footing, still being relatively young enough to work. She was only 59, and with the help of other relatives. In the meantime, Sharon had lapsed into negative standing at her college and could not simply reapply to the college with any real hope of being accepted. This I knew. What I didn't know, until long after we were engaged, was that Sharon had defaulted on a nearly 6-figure student loan. She eventually told me about it because I saw collection notices from the loan bank at our shared apartment. She told me that she didn't feel she should have to pay for the loan if she didn't have a degree to show for it. I tried to tell her that the bank wouldn't care to see it that way and would go after her forever to get their money, and they might have her wages garnished or her spouse's wages garnished if she continued to ignore the bills. She told me she understood, and also understood if I saw this as grounds for calling off our wedding. Well, I love Sharon, so of course I need to help my fiancé or wife, and since I had a good job now, I was earning around $60K a year, which for me is pretty good. We could budget so that we could get rid of the debt as soon as possible. I asked her if she understood what that meant, moderating our going out to eat, moderating luxury shopping, keeping a budget, etc. In truth, the way we worked it out with her loan company, the monthly payment isn't even that bad. My salary can cover it, and we still have more than adequate money for food, rent, and all the basics. We even have a few $100s free and clear every month after I put a decent amount in savings, so we can allocate just to luxuries. Sharon and I both agreed that if we ever had extra sums of money available, i.e. I earn a raise at work, I get a bonus, etc., we will throw all of it at her debt so that we end it even faster. Every month, Sharon and I wrote down a list of essentials. Most of them are for Lily, like a jogger stroller, new clothes, etc., and we number them according to their importance and priority. Inevitably, Sharon gets the wishes she puts on the list. Usually, I don't write anything for myself because as long as I have food and I'm healthy, I'm fine if my wife and kid are happy. Okay, so now fast forward to the recent past. We recently received our stimulus check from the government, a few hundred for me and the wife, and a few hundred for the baby. The money appeared automatically in my checking account. The way we have the budget set out is that I have one main account where my paycheck gets deposited. I reroute a large portion to the other account where my wife and I both have access. This is the luxury account. Sharon has linked this account to her own separate checking account to transfer money into at will. Although nominally, I have equal access to the luxury account. In all practicality, I just write this off as Sharon's money and I don't care how she spends it, so long as she's happy. Out of my account, I pay all of the bills: the rent, the utilities, the cell phones, the Wi-Fi, the streaming services, the doctor copays, the groceries, the big student loan payment, etc. Sharon sees all the bills. For groceries, usually we allocate a certain sum every week, and I just directly give that to Sharon in cash since she does the grocery shopping. She is aware of how much I make every paycheck because the paper stub gets mailed to us after the direct deposit. She also knows that after all the bills are paid and the transfer to the luxury account, I end up with about $150 left in my account, which works out to about $5 a day. Sometimes I blow that $5 on lunch at the office. Usually, I make lunch at home and save the money. I have 3 nice suits, though rather more dress shirts, that I've nursed for 4 years now, rotated throughout the week. I'll eventually save up for a 4th suit. Well, when I saw the stimulus payment, I immediately looked at the list. We bought our kid new shoes, new pants, a jumper swing. Sharon already got her yoga pants, and some hairband thing that poofs up your hair. I put all the money towards Sharon's loan balance and didn't think any more about it. A few days ago, Sharon asked me about the stimulus payment because the IRS sent us a letter reminding us of the fact that we had been issued money for 3 people in our family. I said, yeah, we got it, and I paid the student loan with it. Sharon got mad. Not yelling, screaming mad, but just silently moody mad, and said later that it was very selfish of me not to tell her about the money. I didn't know I was being selfish because all I did was devote any extra money in a non-crisis situation to her student loan, like we agreed. I also reminded her that she was still getting all the money in our luxury account for basically her own use, and I don't touch any of it. I wasn't trying to play martyr or try to act like a jerk, but I also gently reminded her that I never buy anything for myself and that the money the IRS paid to me was also spent on her bill. I also reminded her that we are making our monthly savings goals and are on track, and that the sooner we get rid of that loan balance, the easier the financial picture will become. Sharon says that the stimulus payment is a special situation and that she would have liked to spend the money to treat herself to something. I asked her if there was something that she had in mind, because everything on her wish list had been purchased, even big ticket items such as a Peloton bike we eventually got for her after a few months of steady saving. I also offered to just give her her share of the IRS payment, but told her she'd have to take it in installments because my own account didn't have enough money in it to give her it all at once after I took care of all the bills. She said, never mind, that I've proven that I'm selfish and not willing to share. For my parents, they give me different answers. My mom says I should have just taken all the money and given my wife her share. Blown my share on a suit, and either put the baby share in the baby's account, we already have a college fund for her, while my father says I did the right thing in trying to end the debt faster. I asked Sharon's mom, and she says my dad is right. Meanwhile, Sharon usually wants it at least 4 times a week, but for an entire week, we haven't had sex at all. Is this something where her anger will pass? Did I make a mistake here? I thought I was acting in the best interest of the family. Alright, let's help this guy decide if he's the jerk. This cat came back starts us off. She could get a job if she wants to treat herself. You are supporting her, buying her all that she wants, and paying off a student debt that she was going to irresponsibly blow off. She sounds super spoiled. Could you have told her the money was there before paying it? Yes. I'm sure it is tough for her to feel dependent on someone else, and being excluded from a decision may have felt infantilizing, but her reasons are so childish. She wants to treat herself when every luxury she wants is already paid for. Should she learn to communicate and then get over it? Absolutely. B144 says, wife only has some college, which limits her ability, especially since she was studying in a field that requires advanced education, so probably minimum or near minimum wage. Childcare costs for a tiny child like that are going to be more than his wife makes. $60K might be enough for them, but they really need him to go and find a better paying job. This cat came back with a response. We don't know where they are or what daycare costs. It varies considerably. In my home city, subsidized daycare can cost $5 a day. And with most of a degree in sociology, she can definitely work in the community sector or even go back to retail and do flexible hours. There are many ways of making it work. It is nonsense that she has no options except to mope around not being able to treat herself when she has a monthly budget designated specifically for treating herself. They don't even need more money. Also, who takes out 6 figures in loans for a sociology degree? This girl just seems lazy, dull, and irresponsible. Instead of paying it off, her husband had to force her. And instead of improving the family situation by paying it off faster with some of her spending money, she prefers to buy a bunch of crap and whine that she needs more. Red flags. Pink Bobble's response: I don't think you're doing her any favors by giving her all the spending money each month. You both work hard. You at work, her at home, presumably. And you both deserve equal spending money. Whether you use your half to save up for a suit or to put more towards the loan each month is up to you. In general, yes, big financial decisions should be decided together. I think she reacted incredibly selfish since she already gets much more spending money than you as it is, and the debt you are both paying down is exclusively hers. For what it's worth, I think you definitely made the best financial decision, but next time, definitely run it by her first and decide what to do together since you are partners after all. Please buy the suit. It would kill me if my husband needed a new suit and didn't buy one because I'm spending all the extra money we get each month on myself. Dan Huang Mao says, should have talked about it first, even if it wasn't an issue you were willing to budge on, because she's already agreed on what to do in situations like this. From her reaction, it sounds like your wife heard about this free money and already imagined herself spending it, and so was looking forward to blowing it on treating herself. When it was revealed that this money had already been spent, it felt like you stole from her to pay for some BS she won't see any benefit from, because she's still not really accepting the reality of her debt, since you've made the problem go away. Had she instead talked through this with you when you got the money, she still might have been disappointed if it wasn't spent on luxuries, but she likely wouldn't be blaming you as much for stealing it from her out of selfishness, because she was a part of the discussion and decision. Miss Yellowtail, close us out. Selfish is not the right word, but it is crappy of you to make those calls on big financial decisions without talking to her about it first, especially when a share of the money belonged to her. If someone would take a share of my money and used it, even for my benefit, without talking to me, I'd be furious. It feels really patronizing, overstepping, and, in a way, kind of entitled. I mean, what gives you the right to unilaterally decide what should be done with the money? I don't like how she phrases it as selfish, but it could just be that selfish was the word which was the word that resonated the most.